Okay guys, quiz time on episode 5 of MCrider.com. I'm getting ready to pull up to these green cones and perform a nice simple stop. Your job is to tell me what I do wrong. If you see it, leave a comment below and tell me what I did wrong, but more importantly, what I can do to fix it. If you didn't see it, just say, I don't know. Either way, leave a comment below and let us know what you saw before we move on in this video. So did you see it? Alright, the first thing that I did wrong was right there. Let me back it up so we can look at it again. So take a look at my wrist position here. Look how high my wrist is as I reach out for the throttle. Starting with my wrist high on the throttle causes another problem as I approach the stop. So here's the consequence of starting with your wrist high on the throttle. Your fingers are not in the correct position to reach out for the brake, causing you either to roll on the throttle as you reach for the brakes or have to remove your hand from the throttle in order to reach the brakes. Here's a close-up of what we're talking about with our wrist being in the incorrect position. Notice how my forearm and wrist do not line up and its effect on my ability to reach out for the front brake. Here my wrist is in the correct position when I go to the throttle, and that allows me easy access to the front brake when I roll off the throttle. The brake lever can also be adjusted up or down to help give you easier access to the brake. So we see this bad wrist position all the time with new riders, but I had a guy pull up next to me on a Harley the other day, and the first thing he had to do was take his hand off the throttle in order to reach out for the brake. So it's a bad habit that many riders are continuing to ride with. So let's take a look at where this problem begins to manifest itself in your control of the motorcycle. So this time I'm going to start with my wrist in the incorrect position. It's going to be high. I'm going to approach the green cones at about 25 miles per hour, and I'll make a fairly aggressive stop like you would if a car pulled out in front of you. Notice how my poor wrist position affects my ability to efficiently reach out for the front brake. So let's grab one of those orange cones back there and mark our stopping distance. This time let's use a correct wrist position and see what difference it makes in our stopping distance. Just watch how more efficient my reach is for the brakes simply by having my hand in the correct position on the throttle. So what does that equate to in stopping distance? Well, let's take a look at it and find out. So in total it shortened my stopping distance up by about 14 feet. That's only at 25 miles per hour. So if you're going 60 or 70 miles per hour, you can more than double the difference it's going to make in your stopping distance. So you can see at just 25 miles per hour, it affects our stopping distance by about 14 feet. You can see how small things like this, like your wrist position on the throttle, can affect your ability to stop a motorcycle, especially when you need to stop the motorcycle the most in an emergency situation. If you've developed this bad habit, here's your chance to correct it so that your fingers are in the correct position for that front brake when you need it the most. That wraps up episode 5 at MCrider. Check out some of our earlier videos if you missed those. If not, we'll see you guys next Tuesday.